what am I going to do when I get out of the military? That's the question everybody wants to know. As soon as they know you're getting out, you're not doing that 20, the very next question is, so what are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do when you get out? What do you got lined up? What are your plans? Well, you know what? That's actually a pretty good question to ask me because I've had a few plans. So let's just dive right into it. So I've got this whole thing going on with PLD, with my permanent limb do. You can go back and watch my other podcasts. I have a whole podcast about PLD. If you're facing med board or you're facing any kind of, physical evaluation board, then you got to watch that video. It'll definitely help you out. But anyway, so I thought I was getting out. This is 2022. I thought I was going to be out by July of 2021. Then my PLD went through and I was able to basically synchronize my end of duty date with my projected rotation date from this command. I know it's a lot of military jargon for you right there, but basically what it means is that my retirement date is now the same date as the date I would have just transferred from this command to a new command. So that's what that is. But so in all that time, I got my final unfit orders in April, and so, I knew I wanted to stay in town, so I started looking at jobs, and right away, I want to do something with medicine. I wanted to continue the path I was on. Like I said, I wanted to be an IDC or a nurse, so my big idea was to, take the GI Bill, go back to school, and become a nurse. So that was my initial plan. But, that takes some time to get together, and I was trying to throw things together at once, and all I could think about was money. Money, 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 money. I got a wife, I got 3 kids, we have a house, we have cars. I just wanted to make sure there was some money coming in. Even if I had to wait a little while to get my shit together to go to school, money has to keep coming in because these kids won't stop eating. Believe me, I tried. So I was looking into the sheriff's department, actually, in both San Diego County and Riverside County, where we bought a house. So, and it was interesting, because before I joined the Navy, I actually had 2 jobs. I had 2 job offers. I was either going to be a prison guard in Maricopa County, Arizona, which is probably a good thing I didn't, because that's a pretty rough county. And Sheriff Joe Arpaio was the sheriff of Maricopa County back then. You all remember what a dickhead he was. Yeah, it makes for some fun reading if you're ever bored at night. Just Google Sheriff Joe Arpaio and you can see what a fucking douchebag he was. But anyway, so I was either going to be a prison guard for Maricopa County or I was going to be a travel agent for American Express. In hindsight, I wish I had gone ahead and been the prison guard because that's just a lot more fun than answering phones. But anyway, I was looking to be a bailiff. Actually, I mentioned in one of my other podcasts that People's Court is our favorite show, and I wanted to be a bailiff. So I went to San Diego County Sheriff's Department and Riverside County Sheriff's Department, took the test, passed the test, and they said, "Oh, we'd love to have you. You're active duty. That's great. We love that. We'd be more than willing to wait until your service is over. Give us a call, blah, blah, blah." Sounds great. Now, San Diego County, I had 2 very different experiences with both those counties. San Diego County, San Diego is such a military town, and you just feel it. There's certain instances where people ask me if I'm military, and I say, "Yeah, how'd you know I was military?" And just, "Oh, I don't know. I just got that vibe from you." Well, this is the first time that I got that vibe from somebody else. So we're in there. This kid is like 26. He says he's been, he's not 26. He's got to be in his early 30s. We'll say he's 30. But this kid he says he's been a sheriff. He's still in the sort of the early phases of this sheriff's deputy career he's on. And like I say, he's about 30 years old, Latino kid, good looking, pretty good shape. And he just starts rattling off just like they do in the military. It's like, you will refer to me as Officer Sanchez. I don't know his name. I'm just making this name up. You will refer to me as Officer Sanchez. I will refer to you as sir or ma'am. Basic respect. You give it, I get it, and vice versa. And I'm just like, oh, God, this kid just reeks of military bravado. I'm just like... But then he tells me that he's been in for 8 years and he just recently made rank. I'm like, God damn. 8 years and you've only made rank once? I mean, I don't expect you to be the fucking police chief by then, but good God, man. They're explaining to us the whole how it works, and because like I said, I wanted to be a bailiff. So in the county of San Diego, the sheriff's department heads up the jails and the courts, and they also do patrol, and that's all under the jurisdiction of the sheriff's department. From what I gathered, and basically you start at the bottom with the prisons and prisoner transport and the courts, and then you make your way to patrol if that's what you want to do. I wasn't really interested in being patrol. I don't want to be a straight up cop, but the prisons and the courts, that sounded good. It's a little, that's a little more my speed. I don't really want to be a police officer out there. Not that I have anything against police officers. It's just not my deal. That takes a special kind of human to be able to do that. And I have too many days where I come to work and I'm just like, fuck this job. You can't really do that if you're a police officer, pulling people over and yanking people out of cars and throwing people on the hoods. Not that that's all that police do. I'm just saying that's part of the job. It can be anyway. That's just not my deal, But that was my experience with San Diego Sheriff's Department. Now, Riverside Sheriff's Department, they might have me. They might get me, because I had a great experience with them. This whole thing started with me looking at the Sheriff's Department because I found the greatest job that I really want to do in the Sheriff's Department. Well, we'll circle back to that. But my experience with the Riverside County Sheriff's Department was great. What ended up happening, like I said, I'm still active duty, but in my mind, I'm getting out in a couple of months because that's when my service was supposed to be up and I was going to get medically retired. But then I got extended, so that's not the case. So I go down there. Again, I take the little test, but we're standing here. There's maybe a dozen people that are taking the test this day, and we're standing there, and there's a civilian lady who's asking us some questions. Very nice lady, by the way. The people at the San Diego County Sheriff's Department were a little more brusque. Not that that's a problem, but just is what it is. But the lady at the Riverside County Sheriff's Department was nice, and she was asking us a bunch of questions, and she said, "Hey, is anybody here military, retired, veteran, whatever?" And about 5 of us out of a dozen raised our hand, and she said, "Is anybody here still active duty military?" And I was the only one that would put my hand up. And when I did that, her eyes lit up like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah." "What branch?" I'm like, "I'm in the Navy." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Hey, come talk to me after you take the test. I want to talk to you." I'm like, "Oh, all right." So that's cool. So, I take the little test. Incidentally, these tests are really fucking weird. I didn't know what really to expect. I just kind of expected some sort of SAT, ACT kind of standardized testing. But I mean, they're asking, it's kind of questioned my faith in the sheriff's department, because some of these questions were like shapes and colors. I'm like, what the fuck? Not like, name the shape and color, but it was like, I guess I get it. It was like they give you a couple of pictures and you're supposed to go back and say, hey, what shape was this window, or what color was this car? And yeah, I guess that makes sense. I don't know. It just seemed a little strange to me. I don't know. But I guess it works. I don't know. But so I take the little test, and they tell you whether or not you passed right there. So I go up to the front, let them know I completed the test, and they'll say, "Oh, what's your name?" And you give me your little number and say, "Oh, well, great, you passed." And I'd almost forgotten that lady said she wanted to talk to me after, and I was just going to grab my stuff and go because I had a long drive ahead of me. And the lady kind of poked her head out from her office and say, "Oh, hey, yeah, I wanted to talk to you." "Oh, okay." So I go and I sit in this lady's office, and she's like, "Yeah, so what are you, special forces?" I was flattered that she thought that, but no, I'm not special forces. I'm a hospital corpsman in the Navy. She said, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." People always think, civilians always think I'm special forces. Believe me, if you ever met a special forces operator, I don't look anything like a special forces person. Trust me, I don't. They definitely have a swagger that you can tell. But anyway, I said, no, I'm a hospital corpsman. You know, I shoot x-rays at the hospital. Like, oh, okay. Well, you know what? We love getting guys right out of the military. You guys already have the good routines. You guys like to get up early. You guys are always on time, So, hey, listen, whenever you're ready to go ahead and whenever you get out, whenever that might be, give us a call and we could definitely use somebody like you. So, I was pretty flattered by that. So that was great. That was like July, and I was supposed to be getting out in September, and obviously that didn't happen. I ended up getting extended again. So now I'm getting out over a year later. So, and I'm wondering about that. Should I take a look at it? I mean, probably not. I've already been accepted to school, but I'm still kind of playing around with what I want to do with school. Do I want to be a nurse? Do I want to, go the PA route? What do I want to do? So I'm still kind of working that through, doing research. I'm the kind of guy that'll research one thing for like months and months and months. Like when I go, like right now, I'm going to buy a car, and I've been doing research on these cars for months. It's driving my wife fucking crazy. Akila, sweetheart, if you're watching right now, I love you so much. Thank you for listening to me over and over again talk about the same nonsense. I really appreciate it, baby. I love you. But I've had a lot of ideas about what to do after the military, and there is sort of a relief that, I guess I could kind of do anything. I got my GI Bill. I can go back to school. I've got 12 years of military experience. I can go, get a government job. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff out there I could do. So there is a peace that comes when you open your eyes and you look at the big picture. Because I'm not going to lie to you, I went to kind of a dark place when I realized I wasn't going to be a 20-year veteran. I wasn't going to be an officer. I wasn't going to be a nurse or an IDC or any of these sexy things that I had built up in my head that I was going to end up being. No, at the end of the day, I'm just an x-ray tech. I'm just Big Jones, the x-ray tech. And that's okay. It took me a while to get there. I'm not going to lie to you, man. And believe me, if any of my military guys are out there watching, getting out is definitely a journey. I hope you have somebody out there that you can depend on, whether it's a spouse or a buddy or a brother or a parent. Lean on that person and make sure, you're not keeping it all bottled up inside. It took me a minute to spit out how I was feeling and come to terms with what was happening to me, because you can feel a little abandoned by this entity that you put your heart and soul into for however many years. For me, it was 12 years. It was what it'll be when I finally get out. And you do kind of feel like they just kind of cast you aside. But, like I said, there's people out there, there's programs out there. Make sure you're taking care of your mental health, because that 22 a day number is fucking scary. And we don't need to add to it. So that's just my little PSA for the night. But back to my ideas for getting out of the Navy. I've kind of let my mind expand a little bit, and I'm wondering, of course I want to provide for my family and make sure that they have everything they need. I'm going to be getting a nice chunk of change from the Navy for my disability, so that's nice. But, that also gives you some opportunity. You think to yourself, because something I've always been interested in is culinary, is cooking. And I actually got into the Navy. I actually went to MEPS initially hoping I could be a cook, and because that's something I was always interested in, and it's something I thought I could build a career around. All these cooking shows and everything, but it's an idea, like, could I go to culinary school? Big Jones the cook? That would definitely take my podcast to a different level. Definitely take it down a different road, but I'm at that age now. I'm 40. I will be in a month. I'm at that age where, if it's not making the kind of money I need to support a family of 5, then I kind of got to keep it pushing, that stuff, as far as, I've been jokingly, when people ask me, because it's like I said, it's inevitable when people know you're going to get out of the military, the next question is, what are you going to do? And I've been jokingly telling people I want to be a race car driver, or I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a zookeeper or a lion tamer. I've been telling people goofy, kid shit, this kind of stuff my 6-year-old would say, because I mean, I want to do these things, I still, I'm 40, but I'm not tired, man. I'm not done yet. I still like to go out there and do stuff. I don't want to be chained to a desk, I mean, even with school, school is great, and I'm actually really looking forward to going to school and not having to worry about like practice. I went to college for 5 years. I'm gonna put myself on blast for a minute. I went to college for 5 years and I have no degree, because when I went to college, I was majoring in big ass titties instead of going to class. And as the years wore on, I was an athlete. I was a track and field athlete. And all I cared about was going to the Olympics. I didn't care about school. I didn't care about getting a degree. I didn't even know. I changed my degree like 2 or 3 times right in the middle of it because I kept on failing classes or dropping classes. I'm like, listen, man, I'm getting ready to get out of college. Just what can I cobble together from the classes that I did pass? And if you're doing that, man, whew, if I could go back and do it again, I'd probably, no, I wouldn't. I'm not even going to say that stupid shit because I definitely wouldn't. I definitely would have stayed the course. But anyway, I mean, culinary school, I've thought about getting my bartending license, and doing that, I got to stop watching so much, TV, man, all these cooking shows, and then Bar Rescue is my favorite show. I'm kind of like my home bartender. I make a mean margarita, man. I got to do a video on that one day, making the Big Jones margarita. But, all these fantastic ideas are coming out, and that's part of the excitement, or what should be the excitement of getting out, is your mind starts to open up. That's kind of the negative part about being in the military. Don't get me wrong, I love my time in the military, but the negative part about being in the military is that the longer you stay in, your mind kind of shrinks. It kind of comes in because you have to think of everything in the confines of being in the military. It's very, very hard to think outside the box when you're in the military because you are in a box. I mean, like right now, I'm not supposed to look like this. I'm supposed to be shaved, but I'm not because I don't give a fuck. But I mean, like right now, my wife has been talking about getting a nose ring for the longest time, and I finally, because we're 40s, we're in our 40s now, and we're not supposed to do anything ostentatious, on paper, because we have kids, we have families, we have bills, we're supposed to take care of business first, and sometimes you do forget to take care of yourself. So I dragged my wife out of the house and we got her nose pierced. It's not a big deal, it's just a nose ring, so what? But that's something that I can't do right now. I would love to get a nose ring, actually. I thought it looked really cool, but I can't do that right now because I'm in the military and it's outside of regulation. So you have to follow the rules. So when you do get out, or when you start that process of getting out, it's exciting because you realize, like, oh man, all those things I wanted to do, but I couldn't do because I was in the Navy and I had to worry about getting, making sure they couldn't see it in my uniform. I mean, I've seen a lot of policy changes since being in the Navy. I mean, the most amazing one, when I first joined the Navy, there was some really stringent tattoo laws. I mean, obviously you can't have anything gang affiliated or prison kind of looking tattoos, nothing on the face, But I mean, now you can have tattoos on your hands. You can have tattoos. I think you can even have them on your neck. It's become very, I mean, it used to be that whatever tattoo you got, it had to be covered up by the palm of your hand, and it couldn't show in any military uniform, which sounds like it's okay because we wear long sleeves and pants, but your PT gear is considered a uniform, and that's just a t-shirt and shorts, and you could, that limits your options. But then again, almost nobody followed that rule, because you go from one command to another, nobody knows you get a tattoo between commands, and it's like, oh yeah, I've had that the whole time. I had that since before I joined the Navy. So it's silly. But, I guess what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to wrap up this video now. I don't want it to go too much longer, but when you see the end of your military career, take it with a grain of salt. Try to remember that, you served your country, whether it was for 2 years or 20 years, it doesn't matter. You served, which is more than a lot of people can say. So remember, allow your mind to sort of expand a little bit. Allow yourself to kind of look and see the world with new eyes, especially you young guys, man. You 18-year-olds who haven't really experienced anything, you guys need to get out there and experience some stuff because you guys don't even know what you've missed, Just get out there and check it out.